That's right. So,
I always have my two buddies with me when I'm up in Alaska. I have Mr. Smith and Mr. Weston and a Model 629 on my hip. We are not on top of the food chain where we're at.
Right.
Nor we are where we live. I mean, I know you, Chuck, better than you know me. You know, of course, I follow your videos. I follow your detecting pages and stuff like that. Up here, it's if you don't carry a gun, you don't go out in the woods.
That is exactly.
Yeah, after all, a few weeks ago, you walked out of your garage to find a black bear in your yard.
And that was by chance. You know, like I said, you know, Josh, we've talked about this a few times. I assumed that the planter had dropped off the porch, but no, it was the black bear sitting in the front yard. Now, with Chuck, my question for you is what have you encountered into the woods which makes you carry?
Well, bears. I had a run-in back about 2000 up in Nome. We were hauling, I was on the GPA site up there, and we were hauling materials from main camp out to dredge. And we were staying in what at that time they called the Blue Room. And Arlen McCool, it was traveled, and he still goes up there. And it was my dredge partner for many years up there. He was out in front. I had Howard from Maine, I'm trying to remember his last name, in the middle, and Howard's yelling at me, and I stop. He looks at me, and he's pointing in front of Arlen as we're going in along the trail, along the Arctic Creek there, tall stand of willows, and here's a bear's head standing shoulder height above the willows. Most of those are about 6 foot. And we're screaming at Arlen. Arlen don't hear so well anyway. And we got him stopped, turn around. What are you guys yelling about? We're both pointing at this timber, at this willow stand, and then the bear charged us.
Whoa.
And with that, I drew my buddies out and laid across the handlebars because he was within 40 yards. He stood up and was clicking and popping. And if you've ever been around a bear that's doing that, he's really agitated. He's clicking his teeth and popping his jowls and in a stance that he's showing you, I'm here. I'm in charge. And we got turned around and he ran back into the willows, and then Arlen and Howard turned around. I let the hammer down. I was just starting to put the gun away, and here he came again. And this time I thought, I'm going to have to do this. And then he just veered right and went back in the willows, and I turned around, and Arlen said I didn't stop shaking for an hour. At 40 yards, you've got an animal that can accelerate from 0 to 45 in under 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, if you weren't already drawn down on him, it's not very well.
Yeah, I was drawn down on him the first time.
Yeah.
I was ready to start. I use a Hornady carbine round, and the gun is sighted in for that. The 44 Magnum is a good deer hunting run. You can shoot out to 125 yards pretty consistently. And I had the rounds in it. I mean, a hollow point round, if you do have to shoot a bear in the head, isn't going to do much. You want a good solid round that's going to penetrate. They're an awesome animal, but in fact, 3 years after I was up there, I went to another site. I was with a good friend of mine that on a site, and we were running a wash plant, and we were working through the summer, and the previous fall, the fire chief from Nome, they were on a muskox hunt just outside of Nome, about 15 miles, going up a mountainside, stopped by some willows, spun around to take a picture of the other firemen coming with them. They were on a hunt and was attacked, and it retired him. It tore him up bad, and it just jumped out of the willows and had him. So, and he was armed. He didn't have time to react, but the guys got to him, saw what was going on. They saved his life. They flew a chopper in. They had the satellite radio with them, were able to fly a military medevac in. They medevaced him out. They got him down. They had to reattach the side of his face. He had hundreds of stitches. Oh. So you've got to be aware of your situation out there all the time, no matter whether you're out in the wilds or whether you're in town. We'll leave it at that.
That's
be cognizant of what's going on around you.
Wow. That is...
So, yes, I've had run-ins with black bears and grizzly bears. and some at a great distance, which it was nice to stop and watch them, and some at too close a range.
Right, too close for comfort.
If you have a bear at 100 yards, you're way too close.
Right. Well, and I think that also gives you the prestige of sharing the most harrowing bear encounter yet with Beyond Sight and Sound.
So yeah, and I shook for a little while. I was ready to start dropping loads, and
understandable.
I was ready, and I didn't do it and on the second one I was just laying out, and he did that veer and ran back in, and I was able. Putting a Honda 4-wheeler in the reverse, you have to push a button, hold the clutch, shift down, and then get it in the reverse and get turned around on this Tundra 2-track. Is not easy. And I don't know how many times I shifted those gears before I finally had a reverse light and floored it out of there. Usually if you do that, make a lot of noise, put the engines,
on the
go back down, but it wasn't backing down.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that is definitely a story. Man, I mean, I don't know what I'd have done in that situation. I'm sure I'd have been shaken too.
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely.
It was interesting, and Arlen swore off of riding with me anywhere for a while because every time he rode with me, I ran into bears. And
yep,
he still talks about that, but he had a bad encounter last year running an excavator up there. One came out and got too friendly with the excavator while he was on it. And he talked about that this year. I said, see, you can't blame me.
That's right. That's when you say, see, not my fault.
Right. So, and I've watched grizzlies up there. I watched one day. We were at Denali National Park. He rolled a boulder with one paw that would take an excavator to pick up. He just rolled it out of the way and started digging under it, looking for grubs and stuff. And the power of those animals is just simply awesome.
Yeah.
Right, definitely.
And your black bears actually are worse than your grizzlies because they're known to attack humans more often. So if you've got a black bear in your front yard, oh boy.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what Swansea said.
Well, I told Swansea he's got to stop using that honey for aftershave lotion, but he won't listen to me.
Right. Well, I told him have him for dinner. Smoke that thing.
He asked another question, what have I run into in the woods? I've run in when I was in northern Minnesota up there. That was the first year I ever metal detected. We were cutting some fire lines, and the guy that was with me, Richard, I looked at him, I said, you ever get the feeling you're being watched? And we had a rock ridge above us, and we were cutting this fire trail through on the property lines, and he says, no, why? And I said, I just got that feeling something's watching us. And a little bit later, Rich come over to me and he's pointing. He said, look up. And there were 3 wolves watching us up off the ridgeline.
Oh.
That didn't bother me like the bear did, but it was
no.
They had been there a while. I know they had. And it's like just one of those things when you're out there, you want to kind of at least protect yourself. I mean, right. They showed no aggression. They were more curious than what you could imagine, but it's just still one of those uneasy feelings, you know.
Well, absolutely, not to mention the fact of wildlife aside, you never know who may try to sneak up on you and say, oh, he's prospecting, I'll take his gold.
That's right. That's right.
Keep it low and slow.
Yeah.